ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon. Hey everybody, welcome to a really special Roundtable Talks. Today we are talking about the best theater in New York City. One Broadway show, one off-Broadway show, both classics, both in amazing institutions, both things you need to catch before they're gone. Up first, we have Beetlejuice. David Josefsberg is here. And then the cast of American Television's at New York Theater Workshop. This show is phenomenal, original, new work that you need to check out. My name is Robert Bannon. Welcome to the Roundtable. We're live every Thursday, and then we do random Roundtable Talks every week. I want to get right to things. If you like this page and you like what we're going and doing, go to robertbannon.com. And as always, please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification button, do whatever you got to do. Tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell a neighbor, tell whoever you run in contact with. Just go to the ShopRite and say, hey, have you ever heard of the Roundtable, Robert Bannon? It's great. It's Halloween time. It's the season. Beetlejuice. Take a peek. All right, everybody. Last month, I got to see an old friend, and that old friend was Beetlejuice. I grew up on this movie. I love this movie. It was so great to be back post the pandemic to see Beetlejuice. And Beetlejuice is doing 31 days of Halloween. Is there a better show? Listen, in my 5th grade, I just handed out Halloween parade permission slips. This is the season. Buy your tickets, go see Beetlejuice. And can I show you a little bit? Can I take a moment? This is what I taught my godson at Beetlejuice. Take a peek at this.
We're never going to see him. I just show you this comes next break. Your seats. I do this bullshit like 8 times a week. So relax, drink your wine, drink your color wine, and take a breath. Do a show about death. Yo. Die! You're gonna die! You're gonna die! I'll be your guy.
He's obsessed. Like literally, that's the only way he'll go to school is if he gets to sing the Beetlejuice soundtrack. So is there a better critic than that? Ladies and gentlemen, one of the stars, my buddy David Josefsberg is here. How about that?
I mean, very good range. I can see the Pig Mill Playhouse production starring as Beetlejuice.
Yes, it's coming. His mother wants to kill me. I said, oh, you're in trouble because you have a little artist there.
He went from small to big real quick. Really great range.
Range. It's all about that range. David, how are you?
I'm so good. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you back again. We had you in the cast on during the pandemic. We were doing Broadway reunion series, and then the show, one of the most amazing journeys of a Broadway show ever.
You want me to speak on that or?
Please, yes.
Amazing. You know, like first of all, I mean, I don't know where we're going to go with this, but it started with so much joy before the pandemic. I was in the prom and I thought, what is this Beetlejuice? Why is it getting such? And I saw it and I was finding myself laughing. It's so funny. And then also like weeping. It's so beautiful. Starts from the top. Alex Brightman doesn't take 1 second off ever. It's unbelievable. In any show, not 1 second ever. So when you have him and Elizabeth Teeter working so hard, it just makes for everyone want to work hard and have fun, and it's full of joy. Having the fans be so strong during the pandemic and staying connected and TikTok. And I mean, I'm 52 and I'm doing TikToks. Just doing all that and then coming back. It's shocking that it's a win, right? You don't
Yes.
get those so many times, but it's such a huge win. And even, it's bittersweet. We're closing in 3-4 months. It feels like it's just great. We're riding out. Great. The audiences are great. The crowds are great. I just am having the best time.
Well, I had the best. I saw it originally, and then I got to come back and see it again now at the Marriott Marquis. And if you want to get your tickets, it's BeetlejuiceBroadway.com. You guys are doing a whole entire Halloween, October extravagant. There's stuff every day, David.
Yeah, it's our month. It's our month. We got costume things. We got slap bracelets. We got a lot going on.
And I'm amazed when you think of a big Broadway production, you all are doing a production. There is magic. There are sets, there are costumes, there is dance. It is a full tour de force.
it's everything, and not. And so when I said that I saw it when I was in the prom too, the visuals and the set and it's masterful what they can do, and the lighting, how they can use it to change each house to fit the personality of the people that are in the house. I mean, it's just so good. And there's big dance numbers. I don't do too many of those, but you know, that's fantastic.
I wouldn't either.
Great.
Well, let's take a peek. Let's talk about some of your co-stars, like you said. Here's a new screenshot that's from the show. There's Alex and there's Elizabeth on the table there, and that's a little look of the lighting and the set design. And then you and Carrie are so fantastic. You look like you're just having a blast.
I got to tell you, it's really been, you know, so not only the fact that we came back, but we got to come back and rehearse everything and figure out backstories. And so I came in and took over for Rob McClure when he went to go get his Tony nomination for Mrs. Doubtfire, dear. Funny story. I was going to maybe understudy him in that. I would have probably died as this old man sweating and dripping, and it couldn't have done it. So I did my own. I brought my own, you know, all the things that I do to it, but I also took a lot of what Rob did. And this time we got this opportunity to just build a relationship together. And she is just a dream to work with. So easy, so fun, so always like up and full of joy, and able to like, she's like, sure, let's try that. Sure, let's try that. We'll try that. It's a whole cast of people like that. Kritzer, Dan Heiser. It's just pros who also can have fun. They're not too like, I'm character off stage. It's like we come off and we're like, we're having so much fun.
That's it translates to the audience for sure.
And Teeter, let me just say, Teeter coming in, she's not even 21, and she's just this wise, talented, fun, funny, heart-wrenching, amazing. I know what I'm saying, you know.
No,
it's true.
And that's not an easy track. You know, you have to sing.
5-show weekends, she and Alex, I don't know how they do it. It's amazing.
Everyone has to check it out. David, you're no slouch, you know, to Broadway. You have, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, dozens, 9.
My next one's going to be 10. Who wants to be so lucky as to get me in my 10th show? It's
going to happen.
It's a milestone.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen any moment. You're going to get a phone call right after this interview. Can you tell us? It is it?
My agent. No.
Yeah. Booked. Moulin Rouge, here he comes. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey? Where are you from? How did this all happen for you?
Sure. I am from Long Island. I started singing when I was like 5 years old. My dad, I didn't do too many auditions when I was a kid, but I got headshots, and I did go to one to be the Artful Dodger in Oliver that went to Broadway. It was there for a week. I came in third, so I got my name in the paper and thought, wow, this is exciting. The first guy got the Artful Dodger. The second guy got the understudy, and I was the third guy. So I didn't get it. That's fine. Went to normal high school. Then I went to a theater high school. I had a bar mitzvah theme, David on Broadway. And I said I was going to either be the second baseman for the Mets or a Broadway actor. I got one.
Yes, 2 easy jobs to get into.
Okay. Then I went to NYU and was a waiter, as most of us are. And my first job was Les Miserables. Got that. And then from there, we just, you know, went from some show to some show while doing other jobs and doing things. And
before you know it, it's 9 shows later. And
later,
a whole entire theater history here of all of the work that you've done.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Let's just, if you don't mind, we're going to run down the list.
Let's do it.
Well, you talked about the prom. I mean, you're just a character. You're such a funny personality. The prom, talk about a cast. That's a fun group.
Oh my God. I mean, written for those folks. And I had done, with Beth Level, I got to do Drowsy Chaperone with her down in North Carolina. And, you know, everyone else, Sieber and Brooks and Angie, and who am I missing? I don't want to miss anybody.
It's a tour de force cast.
So many people. Unbelievable. It was so much fun just getting to work with Casey Nicolau. Was the first time I ever got to work with him. And it was just, you know, so much heart in that show, too. Those are my favorites, where you get, like, crazy amounts of fun and also the heart.
Well, speaking of a show that has crazy amount of fun and heart, what about you and Waitress?
Oh my God. So I was worried that you were going to ask what's your favorite show you ever did.
No.
Because there are so many. I mean, I'll go through them all. Ogie was so definitely one of them. It's, you know, you come in, you explode on the stage, and you have so much time off, and you come back and you get to fall in love, and you get to learn, like, take all the great things that Chris Fitzgerald does, like all of them, and then bring your own thing to it. Sarah Bareilles. Amazing experience. I love those guys. I don't know if you know this guy. He wears red plaid. Adam Maitland wears green plaid. I'm the guy with who looks like this with the puppy dog eyes and wears the plaid. That's my job. That's my job.
And Act of God was.
I mean, let's talk Sean Hayes. I mean, Jim Parsons was my first. You always remember your first.
You always do.
But Sean Hayes, I got to do it in LA, San Francisco, and here. One of my favorite people in the world. He's just you know, and caring. He's coming back to Broadway this year,
yes.
Right?
Next year.
Yeah.
Coming back to Broadway. Honeymoon in Vegas. I like, talk about Paper Mill Playhouse. Honeymoon in Vegas. Yes, come on now, David.
You made me a me bobblehead of Honeymoon in Vegas.
Yes.
Why do I have it right here? I mean, it literally sits here on my desk.
Just in case it's an icebreaker for parties.
Right? Jason Robert Brown. My dream. Like, sitting here as you're saying this, I'm feeling really good today. Like, it's making me feel like, even if who knows when the next job is going to come. I've had some great experiences. I'm so grateful.
Well, David, I know you did The Wedding Singer, and I just would like to say that your performance probably pales in comparison to my version of The Wedding Singer at the Villagers Theater, it's community theater in Somerset, New Jersey, where I was, not nominated for a New Jersey Community Theater Award, but my portrayal was fantastic.
I bet it was. Who did you play?
Well, I was just Glenn, so I just sang one song and took a nap.
Nice.
That's my dream.
It's all about the green. Wanna be somebody, right?
And way too many lyrics for me. That, I don't know, big shots and hot rods and
oh my God.
A lot of words. Well, anyway, the long and short of it all is that, David, you've done so much, and there's going to be so much more, and I'm so excited to see what's on the horizon.
Oh my gosh, you literally have made my day.
We didn't even get to touch Grease and Les Mis and Motown and Altar Boys, which is really fun.
I mean, that if you would have asked, that might have been the one that is my favorite.
How was your experience in that show?
So, back in the day when we used to, so it took maybe like 5 years to really happen. Before that, though, what people don't get to see is that we have 3 years of just rehearsing. We would rehearse in Ken Davenport's, like, in his living room, and we'd get paid in Starbucks cards for $25. But getting to create that was just it was those the boys together. We had the greatest time. It was really hard, right? Dancing, singing. It's like the old people's version of Six almost.
Yeah.
But it was a dream, You get to, like, just hang and build something and create a character and be a boy band. I mean,
yeah.
It was so much fun.
It looks like such a fun show, but you work your tail off in that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you have such great timing. You've done comedy. You are a comedic artist as well as a musical theater artist as well. In this world, we have a lot of people who watch the show that are aspiring musical theater people. And one of the questions that I get asked a lot about in messages is about how to self-tape an audition and bring life to a self-tape. Do you have any stories during this pandemic when we've been on tape? Do you have any words of wisdom about the audition? Most people give the same reaction. They laugh.
Because does anyone think that they're good at it?
No.
I think, I do it sometimes in this room, and I have to move everything off the walls, and the lighting casts shadows, and this. I would say, for me, the way that I've booked things is to be myself. Mm-hmm. And not to worry about even in regular auditions, about getting things correct, having it fully memorized. Some people think that you should do that, so I'm not going to say no. But don't be afraid to make mistakes. I guess when you're doing it in the pandemic style, it's so hard because you don't have reaction of anybody except yourself. I say don't judge yourself too much. How about that?
That's
You know,
great.
go with something, and when you do it, let it go. Once you do it, you let it go. If you get it, great. I always tell people, that's one of the big things I always tell people about this career is have something else that you like to do as well. And also know that most of the time you're going to be number one. When things changed for me was when I decided to not try to give them what they want and just be me and hope that what they want is what I have, and to not worry about mistakes, and to understand that you're going to be auditioning and rehearsing more than you're going to be performing. So make that the fun. Enjoy the audition. Like, do something new. Do something that excites you, so that, because that's what you're going to be doing more of than getting the jobs. And I promise you, you'll get more jobs because of that.
That's great advice. We're all going to keep that in our pocket. No, it makes sense, because your joy will then radiate through the screen.
Yeah.
And no one's not going to hire you because of these ridiculous little, just add something new. They have to see so many of the same.
And for mistakes, I always tell people that to play Adam Maitland, I went in, I don't know, 5 or 6 times, and I screwed up the rap every single time. And guess what? Didn't matter. I got the part.
It's booked.
Booked.
You got it. You got it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So what is a day in the life like? When do you head to the theater? What do you do? Do you have a routine?
I do. So I live out in New Jersey, and I have 2 kids, one who's going to college next year and plays soccer, and one who plays baseball. And so I spend as much time as I can with them during the day after they get home from school. I spend a lot. Just before I got on this, I was cooking. I cooked tacos, burritos, chicken, so many things that I bring to the theater and things for the family. Because my wife is working in her office right next door, and we like passing ships in the night. But when this is over, we're gonna have all the time together. So it's a nice balance. Always go to the gym. Always work out, do some stretching, and I don't know if you can hear them. My dogs are starting to make noise. Play with the dogs, run around with the dogs, and then I head in on the 4:50 train.
And you head it
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because we have 7 o'clock shows, and then 6 o'clock on Saturday, and then Friday, and then all day Saturday and Sunday.
But this job, because of the routine you have in your little Jersey life, and people pick on Jersey, but I'm a Jersey boy myself. Yes, come on, gym, tan, laundry, and whatever they say on that stupid show, which is real if you go to the Jersey Shore. You have your own routine. You're able to have a family life, and then you get to go be a Broadway star and then come home.
It's really fun, because I also like have another job where I teach breath work, and it's like meditation and this and that, and then I get to go there and be like on stage, and energy that I'm getting back from so many people. It's great. And I know you know that there's like half of the cast, me, Adam, Leslie, Carrie, we all live out here in this little area.
Yes, I know Carrie's out there. I didn't know that. Yeah, there's like a whole little Beetlejuice little community. You all have moved in together.
Yeah. I say, why don't we just do it at the paper mill right now?
Right. Done. Come on.
Book it.
Well, I want to really thank you, because these years, especially after the pandemic, you all coming back together and doing a show that elicits so much joy and fun, and from falling through the floor to daylight come and I want to go home, the whole thing, it is just a laugh and a joyful moment the whole entire time. Beetlejuice tickets are on sale at BeetlejuiceBroadway.com. See it before November if you want to be a part of the Halloween extravaganza.
Yes, we are killing it in October. It's our time. It's spooky. There are contests. Come.
Just go to Beetlejuice. Go to Beetlejuice on Broadway.com, and you have until January to get your tickets. So you better get your tickets now, because don't miss your chance. Don't miss your chance to see it.
Yeah.
Adam, I'm gonna run into you at the Stop and Shop in New Jersey one day.
You know it. Wait, come on out. We'll have I'll make you a taco. I'll make you a burrito.
You bring food to the cast?
Oh yeah, sometimes. Oh yeah.
Adam, I think of the two of you together.
Everyone calls me, because I play Adam, and he's Adam, and we share a dressing room, Adam Danheiser. I play Adam.
And you're Adam. That's what I'm like looking at you, and I'm like, everyone, he's Adam in the show.
Folks say Adam.
David,
yes.
You're a pleasure always. You're such a trip and a talent. It's always an honor to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
How about that? Isn't he great? All people from New Jersey are wonderful, allegedly. I really had a wonderful, magical time going to see American Televisions at New York Theater Workshop. New York Theater Workshop is the home of Avenue Q, Rent, Slave Play, and so many amazing, iconic pieces of American theater. Well, it's so great to see American Televisions take a look at when I got a chance to chat with some of the cast. All right, everybody. I'm really excited to talk to our next two guests because there's a show going on in one of New York's most famous, fabled places to make art, New York Theater Workshop. And Ryan and Clew are here, and there's a show called American Television, and I want you to know about it because I'm literally in a 5th grade classroom across the river in uncool New Jersey, in a room full of first-generation Americans. That's what we teach here in North Bergen. So the show had a special place in my heart, and I was really excited to see it, and I'm really excited to talk about it. You need to check it out. You have 1 week left to see it. Everybody, Ryan is here, and Clew is here. Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. It's so nice to talk to you both. I had the chance to see the show. The show is stunning. It's gorgeous, and it's important. Let's start with you, Ryan. How was your journey to be a part of the show?
I was cast in a reading of the play 2.5 years ago. It was my last job before the pandemic on, I think, March 8th or something, very, very close to it all shutting down. And I auditioned for it, and which is rare. You don't usually audition for readings and workshops. And I just knew immediately. I thought, oh my God, this boy is Jeremy. I played the gay boy next door to this Mexican family on the border in the early 90s. And he was playing with Barbies, and he was, in Fantasyland and playing dress up. And I just thought, oh my gosh, this is the closest I've ever come to playing the child that I was. And the queer boy, the gay boy that I was and couldn't be at that time. And I really wanted the part, and I got it. And then they said they would keep me. So I did another reading, and now here we are with the production.
And here you are. And Ryan, before I let you go, now that you brought it up, in your bio, you talk about cutting the hair of Barbies. And then you dedicate your performance to your mother for cutting the hair of her vintage Barbies.
No, I dedicate the performance to the Barbies, not my mother, but they were my mother's Barbies, and they were in a pristine suitcase from the early to mid 60s when she was just a little girl. And it was absolutely the most gorgeous collectible item. Nothing had ever been touched. And I thought that if I needed to be the hairdresser and take them to the salon, and I took my kid scissors because I thought they would grow back. I thought the hair would grow back like everybody's hair grows back. And then I learned that I ruined these collectible items and my mother's childhood by cutting the hair.
But you're redeemed. Look, you spoke about it. It's in the bio. Clew, what was your journey to be a part of this piece of work?
So I think Victor and I have a mutual friend named Jesus, also a brilliant playwright. And Jesus and I were hanging out in Providence, Rhode Island, which is where I was for the past 2 years. And I think right outside of the Eagle's Nest downtown, Jesus and I had taken a story or done a video. And I think, Victor was chatting with Jesus and was like, who was that monstrous person? And it was me. And so Jesus asked if they could connect us. And I was really happy to receive the script and read it over. And then I had the chance to audition with Ruben and Victor over Zoom. And, I guess they liked what they saw, and I made it to callbacks. And, I remember the audition side being the side wherein Jesse is talking with Jesse Alejandro about Moonlight, and it's that study of grief and love that all live intermingled in one person. And I felt really deeply connected with that character, and for it to be a play written by someone as brilliant as Victor, who is also from Texas and comes from an undocumented immigrant family, and is non-binary, and to give someone like me the chance to finally play a character who's both queer and Asian and seeking found family is everything I could have hoped for. So I'm really, really thankful to be part of the project.
Well, what's so beautiful to see on the stage is a lot of people, in my little humble opinion, a lot of people talk about inclusive and diverse theater, but when you watch this performance with, if it feels like a real stride in inclusivity on stage in New York City, where there's been a lot of conversation about. Don't, I told you we're in a school. We're in the school. So we're as. To see if it's gender, if it's sexuality, disability, all the things that are not, when people talk about diversity, they think of race, but there's a whole entire rainbow and a coalition of different, and this show really has taken strides, and especially talking about undocumented. My grandfather was an illegal immigrant. There's such a stigma and stereotype about what that is. So it's so nice to put people and faces. I often say, if you looked at my students who are here with illegal immigrant families and there's a name and a person and a soul and a personality, it's not a news story. How important is the theme of this and this message, do you feel, Ryan, and your job to give this out to the masses?
I mean, I think it's so important, and I think it's also unlike any story that I've seen about people like this. It's not about we are trying to cross over, or we're being kicked out, or we're threatened with deportation. It is about a family that arrived here. I was going to say made it here, but they haven't made it in terms of the sense of the American dream. They are fighting so hard to live from day to day and week to week, and they're underpaid because of their undocumented status and overworked, and they are grieving. And it is a story of a family that is grieving, and it is a Mexican family that is grieving. But it isn't, as you say, the news story that I tune on the TV and watch. It isn't the sort of stereotypical media version of what we think we're going to see on this stage. And just in terms of disability for me and the character of the best friend and sidekick, which I think I always have thought I fit very well into that category. And why am I not playing the gay best friend everywhere on every stage? The answer is because I walk with a walker. And when creators generally are thinking of gay best friends, they're not thinking of someone with cerebral palsy. But Victor saw a piece of my work at Joe's Pub and said, we got to call him in for an audition because this is the character. And it's the first time in a significant professional way that I'm playing a role that wasn't written to be disabled. And it is also like so important to me that no part of his story or journey, we didn't add anything to the dialogue. You can see in the physicality that like I have to do certain things a certain way or that my walker gets folded, but like it's not, it doesn't have to change the story. It doesn't have to change the text in order for me to be a part of a world. And I think both of those elements, both with the family and with my sort of checking the box, as it were, of disability representation. It's not checking a box because I'm just playing this character. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And it really is beautiful. Clew, can you tell us a little bit about how you all seem close? It's a small cast. You're all on stage dealing with some big issues. Can you tell us a little bit about what the rehearsal process was like and how you all kind of fell into the character and the flow of the show?
Wow, big question. But I think that I can start with what you said, which is the cast that Victor and Ruben assembled for this team is extraordinary, both in terms of their artistry and what they bring to the stage and the kinds of different modes that each character seems to be, the frequency that the Channels or the Canales family and Jeremy are kind of operating at on stage does feel at times like people can be in their own particular channel of a sort, and that lends to some of the moments of beautiful harmony between Jeremy and Erica, and also moments of extreme discord or disharmony between other characters who are just not on the same wavelengths, right? But what was our saving grace in so many ways was I feel like our backstage relationships, the sense of real ensemble that we got to cultivate during our time in rehearsals and staging, both the 3 weeks that we spent at Me Too 580, which is Theater Me Too's rehearsals staging space in Gowanus, and then once we transferred to the workshop, and we got to see the beautiful set that Bretta and her team had been installing, and yeah, there it is.
Here we are.
Wow. It's just magic, magical. Okay, I haven't seen this shot before. Whoa, that's me. But yeah, I'm in awe every day. I'm thrilled to come to work and see the people that we build this show with. Yes, we're going through really difficult moments on stage, but I think that because we're confronting some really difficult subjects and themes, and these, as fantastical as the show can be, I think that some of the hard emotional moments that happen, if we're talking about emotional grieving or loss or unacceptance within a family, those are very real elements that I think that speak to many families, many queer kids, many brown kids, many disabled folks that have grown up. And I think getting to bring those parts of ourselves requires a vulnerability that must be matched by a sense of real grace and trust and kindness. And I would say that everybody in the cast, from my perspective, has held each other in a really it's been like a hug. Like, we only get one day off, and again, one day off is sometimes it's not enough, especially in theater world and what we do. But even on those one days off, I would find myself missing our folks in the cast and ringing people up and figuring out what they're up to. And if, of course, people are taking their time away and kicking back with their loved ones, which they should be. But it's inspired in me a sense of like, I even once the show concludes, I don't want to let go of these people. So, and then getting into character, I feel like I touched on that. Ryan, do you have anything?
About getting into the character of Jeremy?
Yeah.
Well, I think that you dyed my hair so that the grays went away. And, it's, for me, it's a vocal thing, pitching my voice a little higher, so that I then, when I play the fantasy characters that he sort of imagines, all of his references are to, like, old Hollywood glamour goddesses like Betty Davis and Joan Crawford, and a little bit of Tony Kushner, as you might remember. But these sort of divas of the very, very, very past that he would never have had immediate access to in the time that he was living. So the reason that I pitch higher when I'm playing the child, the preteen, or 13-year-old, is so that I can go down, right? Oh, hello.
Good morning.
A little bit, okay. So that I can go down here when I'm doing the sort of referential stuff, and also then it's just literally like I stand backstage and I remember the little boy who wanted to put on plays, forced his family to put on plays, and is now, as you said, Robert, at one of the most famous and fabled places to make art in New York City, where so many beautiful plays and musicals have been birthed. And now we are part of that lineage with Victor Casares and their beautiful play.
Yeah.
Robert, can I just say real quick before we, because Brian brought up a great point about pitching and just thinking about getting into the characters of Jesse and Jesse Alejandro. We were really cognizant in our table work process, and as we were working through the play, I brought the question to the team of, like, just to clarify, these are not, it's not a switch from like Jesse into, attempting to be Alejandro. No, it's something that was cognizant for me, or that was on my mind as I was writing the binary between these two characters, and kind of the ways that that line blurs. Alejandro is channeled or summoned, it's a memory, it's a resurrection, it's Jesse being a vessel for the ghost of who Alejandro was, or was to people around him, or may possibly could have been but might never be now. And so yeah, I'm someone who has a really deep and close relationship with my sibling. My older sister is my remaining family, and so when I think about the closeness and the relationship between Jesse Alejandro and Erica, kind of when in moments of hardness in the house, when all you can do is grip onto your sibling for dear life, and so that was definitely on my heart as I was building this character.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm such an actor nerd. Like I love just the backstory and everyone's process into getting and finding where they are, and to do this exhausting piece of heavy lifting, 8 shows a week is quite the heavy task that you all have. But there's no better people for this job, because you both are, I mean, you're way smarter than this show. Clew, if you look at Clew's resume, and he's like actor, like Shakespeare actor, like finding all of that pieces. And, Ryan is a storied playwright himself, who has also had his work at some of other very big, gigantic institutions throughout New York. You can be on the lookout for dark disabled stories coming to the public, which, I mean, if you're going to have an argument between New York theater work and the public on which has the more hit shows. So
I don't want to be, I'm not going to participate in that argument.
I'm not participating either. The check clears in both places. But Ryan, you write, and then you are now saying someone else's words. How is that different for you as a performer?
Oh my God, it's a gift, because I don't have to think about I'm not terrified every time. Like, did I put the wrong word here? Or is the and in the wrong place? Like, oh my God, it's a gift to go and come in and just act. And that's happened more for me on television than it has in theater before. Most of my theater work for the past 7 years since I graduated college is almost all my own stuff. And I'm always playing a character named Ryan. So to be able to escape inside of someone who isn't me, but is a part of the person I was, and to be able to hold Victor's memory and imagination and beauty and poetry that surpasses any, wordsmithing I've ever done or will ever be able to do, is an enormous gift. And I only hope that it makes other writers and creators and theater makers see that that we can have more disabled performers on stage, across race and gender and sexuality and type of disability, visible or invisible disability, because this opportunity was a long time coming for a play like this, and I hope that there will be more, so that I love my writing, and I'm so passionate about the stories that I tell, but I also enjoy not having to make it. I enjoy the notion that if I don't write just because I didn't write something doesn't mean I don't get to participate. I'm sorry, that took a while to come out of my mouth articulately, but
no, I get it. That's a really powerful thing to be cast in a show. You don't have to write it to be able to be cast in the show. Is there'll be lots of shows, Ryan. We all watch Ryan. Everyone watch The Politician if you haven't watched Netflix.
Well, when I'm 60 or 75, it'll be a cakewalk. Okay.
Right. They'll be on your shoulders. Future will be on your shoulders. Clew, tell everyone this. You have one more week.
Yes.
A week left. Everyone has to go to NYTW.org and get their tickets. Clew, tell everybody, can you give a little pitch? Why should we all join together in this medium of theater and come see you all this last week?
multimodal, downtown, experimental. It's a great time if you are a fan of stories that don't spoon feed you events or a linearity of timelines, but rather in a way that a movie that came out recently that I loved and adored, Everything Everywhere All at Once, not synonymous with our show by any means. In fact, totally different, given that the form and the medium are so different. The story itself is so different, but it is theater that excites and compels, and is deeply funny and also heartbreaking and hopeful. I believe that for this off-Broadway theater house to be hosting and supporting the work of a Latinx Mexican American playwright for the first time in 20 years, especially for that voice to be someone as visionary, a non-binary person who's poetic and prophetic as Victor is, with all of the technology and design and music elements that, whether you're a millennial like I am, or someone who comes from a generation before or after that, I feel like this is, a slice of time, fractured and rendered prismatically, but that will enable you to see a world, a whole world, and many of them. And I think that the characters are ones that you really hope to know in your lifetime, and I think over the span of 95 minutes, really come to see. So yeah, I would say come see this Tao playwright in residence, at the workshop. Patricia McGregor, who is the new artistic director. This is her first show at the workshop, so in many ways this is historic. So this collaboration by Theater Me Too, who I believe Ruben was saying that he and James Nicola went way back, and Theater Me Too is in fact one of New York Theater Workshop's first collaborating theater partners. And so this, to Ryan's point, this production, this project between these two amazing theaters has been a long time coming, and you don't want to miss it. So.
Don't miss it. All I got stuck on was he said they said they were a millennial. My apologies. They said they were a millennial, and I'm not. And I'm just old. That's what.
But you're teaching the youth. You're teaching the youth.
Ryan, Clew, you both are a pleasure. You both are doing really amazing work. It is an honor and a pleasure. Everyone go to NYTW.org. Get your tickets. Come see them. This is the last week you can see them. Make sure you see this, and then follow them both, because there's a lot more work and messages and art that's going to be coming for sure. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you, Robert.
Creative art for all people, inclusive of any gender, race, sexuality, disability. We're learning so much about what inclusivity really means. And I hope that we can continue this conversation here and in your house and in your neck of the woods and in media across the board. Everyone join me this week on Thursday, and everybody follow your own dreams, follow your own path, and make sure you get your work done. We're all out here to finish our business for sure. Everyone, once again, robertbannon.com for more information, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I promise you this, the best is always yet to come, and I look forward to seeing you next time here at the Roundtable.